Hari Om. Let's start with the prayer. Om Samasta Jana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsachanora Mardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum Tvameva Mata Cha Pitattvameva Tvameva Bandhusya Sakhatvameva Tvameva Vidya Dravidam Tvameva Tvameva Sarvam Amadeva Deva Tvameva Sarvam Gurudeva Deva. Hari Om. We are now doing the Vedanta Sangraha of Ramaraya Kavi, and we are at the paragraph 2, and there he defines starts of Dusya Prapancham, the chapter 1, and about the whole world that is perceived. But Dusya Prapancham cannot be described without the Druk. That means the seer and the seen. So seen is only with reference to a seer. If there is no seer, there cannot be seen, cannot be established. That's an interesting statement. We'll analyze later a little bit. But here it says there are two things in this world. One is the seer and the other is the seen. And he defined the Druk is Chaitanyam, Chit Swarupam, and which is Jnana Swarupam, and that's how a seer is a conscious entity, because unconscious entity cannot see. And the seer is that which is of the nature of consciousness, and also is a knowledge also, because is a conscious means I am conscious of, means I am knowledgeable of. So whenever I say I know this, that means I am conscious of that. So consciousness is same as knowledge, therefore he calls it also Jnanam. So it is either Druk, the consciousness, or Jnanam. These are all the synonyms of the same Druk. And for Drishyam, which is seen, is essentially a Jadam, inert entity, Achit Swarupam, and Jadam entity means it is inert. That means it cannot see itself, and it's not consciousness, and somebody has to be conscious. So Anya Adhina Prakashatvam Tad Jadam. Swayam Prakashatvam is Chaitanyam. So that's how he defined also. So Chaitanyam is the Swayam Prabha. That means he shines itself. That means the Swaprakasham, and it doesn't need any other means to know itself, because it is self-revealing. I don't have to do anything. All I have to do is remove the ignorance, and consciousness becomes self-revealing. It is apratyaksha pramanam. You see, it is directly and immediately available, and in fact it's called aprameyam. It is not an object like any other object like Drishyam, which is Jadam. So anything that is objectified, objectifiable, or knowable, or called Drishyam, or seen, which is Jadam. And he defining now the Druk are four types depending upon the Upadhi, not in essence, only through equipments that is being described, or how you describe it, that in that process it can be thought of based on that four types. One is Brahma, Ishvara, Kutastha, Jiva. These are part of the second mantra that we are doing now. Now he defined what is Brahman. It is essentially Maya Upadhi. Maya Upadhi is Druk, is a Brahman. Seer through the Maya Upadhi. So Maya Upadhi means just adjunct. It is as though Brahman doesn't have to see or cannot see even, because it is Ekameva Advitiyam. But as though when it comes to the transactional world, what is that Brahman? The whole Maya, that is Lakshmipati we call it, which is through Maya you can see that is Brahman. And that's why the Visishtadvaita also, from where Ramaraya Kavi was originally coming from, and therefore it defined Brahman via Lakshmi, and same way defined the Brahman as the Mayopahita. So that Brahman, which is the Tatastha Lakshanam, that's what we discussed, is an incidental qualification to describe Brahman, because Brahman cannot be described otherwise. All I can say is Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam, and we went through that they are not attributes, they are Swarupa Lakshanam, and of that Brahman. And Maya avachinna to indeed it Ishvaraha. So Ishvara is the one who is as though product of Maya, or limited by Maya, or indicated by Maya only. Without Maya there cannot be Ishvara, and Ishvara has Maya, both together. Prakritim Purujam Chaiva Vijunadi Upanam. So Prakriti Purusha, that is Prakriti is Maya, and Purusha Ishvara together go as a package, and that's what is called Maya Vachinna to Ishvaraha. So we have Brahman, and the same definitions are used for Kutastha Chaitanyam and Jiva. And for Maya is a Brahman, for a Kutastha Chaitanya, the Avidya becomes the Upadhi for Kutastha. How do we define Kutastha Chaitanyam? That is that pot that is falling as though on the Avidya Janita Buddhi. That's how you define the Kutastha. You cannot see that called witnessing consciousness. What's witnessing consciousness? You hear, you have to be a witnessing consciousness. What is witnessing consciousness? Consciousness that is witnessing. So, but from the consciousness point, nothing to witness. But from the point of reference to our, you indicated definition, and that's called Kutastha Chaitanyam. We'll go into that more detail also later. So Avidya Vachinnatu Jivaha. Just Maya Vachinnatu Ishvaraha. Avidya Vachinnatu Jivaha. Jiva is the limited by or identified with Avidya, and that is essentially a Jiva. And that we have four types of Druk, and says Druk Padartho Chaturvidaha Ish Brahma Ishvara Kotastha Jiva Vedat. And then he defines now what is Avidya and the rest of it as it goes with the Jiva. Avidya meva antahkaranam iti. And Avidya alone, eva, Avidya alone, the ignorance alone is antakaranam iti. It's also called inner instruments. How can ignorance is an instrument? It is a product of ignorance. Therefore, we identify as though it is ignorance, because the cause is the avidya and the product is, effect is the antakaranam. So, because of the cause, we attribute this essentially antakaranam avidya eva. So, without the avidya, there is no antakaranam. So, because from the Brahman point, there is no antakaranam. He doesn't have any avidya, even though avidya is locus in Brahman. So, this is people think that there is a contradiction, and a lot of criticism of Advaita on that basis. That's only because people not appreciating the ontological difference between Brahman and the avidya. Avidya is avidya locust in Brahman, but Brahman does not have avidya. So it's not a contradiction. And just as Krishna says, we say Mayatidamidam sarvam jagad avyakta murtina mastani sarva bhutani. All beings are in me. And in the very next sloka, Gurudev says, even without his washing his mouth, he says, Nasamastane bhutani. There are no beings in me. One says, just now he said, beings in me, and there are no beings in me. Is that a contradiction? No. If you understand what is no beings in me from the Paramarthika Satyam, no avidya in me from Brahman point, and from the point of at the transactional level, all beings are in me. Same way, ignorance is also in me only, but I am not ignorant. So both are valid statements. That's why it is Advaita, where one has to have a proper understanding of Advaita in order to appreciate. That's why in the Avadhuta Gita it says Ishwaranugrahateva pumsam Advaita vasana. Only by the grace of God you are led to a proper teacher. Again, so Ramaraya Kavi was indeed brought up as a Visishta Advaitin only, but he could not appreciate because it doesn't look logical for him to appreciate. Therefore, he went on, when he studied the Panchadasi, then he could appreciate the Advaitic concept, and he went more and more into Advaitics, the study of Advaita. So, avidya upahita druk kutastha avidyavacchinnatu jivaha avidyam eva antahkaranaha iti, and buddhi ichija vyavaharamti, same thing as the buddhi. So antahkarana, inner instruments, and also people call it as is a intellect, because intellect is a starting antahkarana from, and intellect, mind, and all that we'll see later it defines. So the intellect is the subtlest instrument, and that called Vijnanamaya Kosha in Advaita, and it's Vijnanamaya Kosha that is closest to the consciousness. So Kutastha Chaitanyam, as though reflected by the buddhi, and that becomes the jiva here. That's called avidya avijjavachinnatu jivaha. So the intellect, when it activated by the consciousness, activated means how does it activate? By process of reflection and chidabhasa. That's what he called the bhasa, abhasa, that is reflected consciousness. The reflected consciousness of in the Maya is Ishvara. Reflected consciousness in the buddhi is jiva, but reflected consciousness is essentially of the buddhi is product of avidya, and Maya is product of essentially Brahman only. So this is how a parallelism between jiva and Ishvara has been brought up also. So avidyameva antahkaranamiti buddhihi iti cha vyavaharanti. So this is how he defined now the druk from the Brahman, Ishvaraha, Kutastha, and Jiva. Tatra Brahma ekameva. In this, all this in the discussion, Brahma ekameva. So we want to make sure that we are not missing it. Brahma ekameva. Brahman alone, one alone is. That means ekameva advitiyam brahma. That is Satchidananda Swarupam. There is no Maya, there is no ignorance, there is no Ishvara, there is no Jiva, nothing of that sort. Brahman alone is ekameva advitiyam. If these are all, other things are there, then they are only apparent things, not really real things. Real means that only Brahman alone is real. And what is real? Trikala abhaditam satyam. That which never leaves, never goes away, that alone is Brahman. And that becomes a Brahman alone, ekameva. Ishwarasya tatha. Same way, Ishvara is also only one. So Ishvara, only one in the sense that there is nothing beyond Ishvara. It is pure consciousness reflected in the Maya is Ishvara, and that Ishvara is only one. There are no two gods. God is alone. So someone said, a friend of mine here who comes here happened to be a Muslim guy. He says that, say, Allah is only one name, whereas the other gods you have Krishna, Rama, therefore Allah is the only highest God, all other not. So this is his logic. So therefore you can call the same God with different name. That's called Sahasranamam. Vishnu Sahasranamam is called Samanadhikaranam. Each one is pointing to the same one. Same way Satyam, Anam, Anantam also are Samanadhikaranam in terms of pointing only one, and that is essentially pure Swarupa Lakshanam, and that's what one has to understand. So the logic of this is because you have different names, therefore different gods. And Avidya vachinna tu jivaha avidya meva antakarana iti buddhi idisya vyavaharanti tatta brahma ekameva ishwarasya tadha. So Ishvara, the Parameshvara, Lord is only one. You can call him in many names, but Lord is only one. It's not my God is higher than your God. There's only one God. And there was some criticism of Hinduism, says God, Hindus have many gods. We have to read here, say Hindus have only one God. We call it with many names. Each one has given one name. So there are no many gods, but it's all pointing at. In fact, Swami says it's not only many, we don't have many gods, we have only God only. There is no other thing. Because if you look at from the Brahman point, there is only one God expressing into many. Because in the creation comes, God, Ishvara himself says, let me become many. So himself became many in different names and forms. And look at my vibhuti, they are glory of that. So this is how the creation is also. So here, Ishwarasya tadha. So there is only one God in this universe who created this. Tad upadehe mayayaha prakriti ajnanadi paryayaha ekatvam. So tad upadehe is instruments for that, for Ishvara to create the whole universe is mayayaha. This is the maya is his upadhi. His upadhi means here is the equipment or in which he is reveling, and this body is my upadhi, where I am using this matter envelope for my transactions in the world. Same way the Maya becomes the upadhi or instrument for his creation also. That's one aspect. But Maya is also, is avachinnam also. He said, Maya avachinna to Ishvaraha. Is also the limiting adjunct of the Ishvara. Who is Ishvara? The one who has Maya. So without Maya, he cannot define Ishvara. So Maya and Ishvara go together, and the Maya defines the Ishvara also, and also Maya is the Parameshvara Shakti. So this is all roundabout thing. It's not roundabout. That is what the fact is. This also applies for Jiva also. Who is Jiva? He said the upadhi of the avidya. What is avidya? Is due to the body, mind, intellect, all that. He says buddhi, our antakaranam. Antakarana includes buddhi, manas, and ahankara and chitta, all are there as you're going to describe. But that's all part of the buddhi only, you can say. It's a different aspects of buddhi, and that buddhi is where the upadhi of, which is the avidya, that is the upadhi of the jiva. These are all internal statements why the avidya is where the jiva is using that as an instrument. But avidya is also cause for the jiva. So if one of the arguments or the arguments is, did avidya come from jiva, or jiva is come from avidya? Which is the cause or which is the effect? You are looking at a circular definition, because it says avidya, the jiva comes because of avidya, but avidya is because jiva has avidya. So is it a cause or is it a product of jiva? So it says both. It's there's a big criticism of avidya in the Sri Bhashya, and I'm sure the Ramaraya Kavi has analyzed that as in the Shankara Bhashya Vichara. There's a book there by the Ramaraya Kavi, one of the books, and where Ashankara includes all the ones who are contradicting the Advaita. This is Vishishta Advaita, Advaita, and Dvaita Advaita. There are so many other philosophical traditions are there. I'm sure he might have taken mostly the Visishta Advaita, since he comes from that. And here it says, one of the arguments is, you are looking at a circular definition. The ignorance came first or jiva came first? If you say the jiva came first, how can he come? Because he is a product of avidya. But how can avidya come without jiva? So your whole argument is wrong. That's what he says. This is called a circular definition, anyonya ashrayam, interdependency. But says then, okay, how are you going to explain? The Ramanuja also, who criticized, he says the karma is a reason for the creation. So he goes with the karma. Same thing as avidya. But how does karma come into picture? Because Jiva performed the action and also the karma come. How did Jiva came? Because of the karma. Again you have anyonya ashrayam. So you cannot get over it because that is the nature of the problem. So there is no beginning for it, for this kind of cyclic process. And if a seed is a source for the tree, or tree is a source for the seeds. So it's anyonya ashrayam. Is the egg came from the chicken, or chicken came from the egg? This is all anyonya ashrayam. That's why it's called, Advaita Vedanta says, anirvachaniyam. You cannot really say what came first, because it is beginningless. It is from the beginning, from the beginningless itself. You cannot say anything. So it is, since there is no beginning, but it can end. So if it is a beginningless, how can it end? Because it's the nature of avidya. Avidya is ignorance. Ignorance cannot have beginning. Why? Because that is the nature of ignorance. Because if it has a beginning, before it began, one is knowledgeable. If it's knowledgeable, how can he become ignorant? So all ignorances, whether it's my chemistry ignorance or physics ignorance or ignorance of myself, has to be anadi. And even Bhagavan Ramanuja, who criticized, also says avidya is ignorance also. But instead of avidya janitam, he calls it karma janitam. Only he adding a different route, but the same thing. So essentially, here he is defining what is avidya. It's called Maya. Maya is the upadhi of Ishvara, and tadupadehe mayayaha. It's called prakriti, ajnanadi, paryayaha. Here he is also taking Maya is same as prakriti. That comes from the Upanishad. Also, in the Svetashvara Upanishad says, Mayam tu prakritim vidyat mainantu maheshwaram. So the one Maya is same as prakriti, and the one who is the wielder of Maya is Ishvara. So Ishvara is Parameshwara Shakti. And we already defined what is force, and force is required because a change of state requires a force. And from thermodynamics, any change of state requires a force for the thermodynamics in order to change. And force I cannot see, but from the change I have to deduce that there must be a force in order to cause the change. That's how Maya you cannot see, but at the same time, since there is a change, there has to be Maya. The whole universe is continuously changing. What is that force? And Einstein was looking for that universal force, and he could not find it. He has to study Vedanta, then he could have found it. What is the universal force? That is Maya. That means that force that contributes to change. I don't see any Maya. You cannot see any force also. But from the change, you have to deduce the force. And that's what essentially is what is implied. Here, Mayayaha is Prakriti. Ajnanadi Paryaya. Why is it called Ajnanam? Because the very source of Maya is due to ignorance. Because the ignorance is the beginningless ignorance, starts the cause for creation. So, and the creation contributes more ignorance, and more ignorance, all this the cyclic process is there. So it's a beginningless, and therefore it's also called Maya is Ajnana, the Paryayaha. Paryaya means synonyms. And Ekatvam. So this is Maya is also one. So we are here, what are the, Brahman is only one, Ishvara is only one, Maya is also one. Effects of Maya can be different, that's all it is. Jiva kutastau tu nana. So Jiva kutastau tu nana. So Jiva and Kutastha are many. So this is one has to be very careful here. So when Kutastha, Jiva means there are individuals, each one, I am a Jiva, you are a Jiva, so there are billions of Jivas are there, so limitless Jivas are there, and each Jiva has no conscious entity also, and there are many. So infinite, in fact we don't know, even in India itself there are billions of people, even if you talk about billions, and each human being has billions of the insects or viruses or bacteria, is a mind-boggling in terms of the total number of jivas itself. So someone said the population is increasing. How can there be? If it is a continuous change, you should have the same population. No, because the other people not evolving, at the same time new people are coming. Where is the new people coming? All the insects are becoming human beings now. So all the mosquitoes and all that. So be careful in terms of, because next time he will be a human being and will affect you. So essentially all it says is there is a continuous process, and here the jiva kutastautu nana. So the jiva, the living beings, and as well as the the kutastam, that is the unchanging consciousness, the witnessing consciousness, are many. So is witnessing consciousness many or one? It is depends upon how you look at it. Actually it's only one, because it's a Brahman. It's a pure consciousness only. It is a Brahman. But yet it appears to be many. How? Because just like the original consciousness is only one, at the same time the different equipments are there, the reflecting media are different. Therefore, just as the sunlight is only one, but when the sunlight falls on the moon, there is a reflection. Sunlight falls on the Mars, there is a reflection. Sunlight falls on the Venus, there is a reflection. So even though only one sunlight, that part of sunlight that's falling on the moon is a kutastha for the moon. That part of the sunlight that falls on the Venus is a kutastha of the Venus. That part of so it's not really it's not parted, but for convenient reference, when say my witnessing consciousness, you can say my sunlight, you can people can say, people will argue, this is my space. Space is infinite and you cannot divide the space. But at the same time, this is my space, you are occupying my space. So this is for transactional purposes only, we are dividing the space which is indivisible by putting a fence or a wall saying that this is mine and that's yours. Don't come into mine. So even the wall is also in space only. So the divisions are only apparent but not real. Same way, here Kutastha Chaitanyam, when he says many, we are only referring to from the individual point, it is witnessing consciousness. I am identifying with my witnessing consciousness. You are to identify with your witnessing consciousness. So are there too many witnessing consciousness? No. It's only one, but from the point of transactions, we can say that this is a witnessing consciousness. From the consciousness point, there is no witness even. Because witnessing from the sunlight point, you ask, why are you reflecting the moon? Say, I have nothing to do with it. I am not doing anything. I am self-shining and I pervade all the light is my own light, vibhuti only. But if it falls on that, that's not my problem. It falls on that and it falls on the earth, and in the process of earth it gets heated up, and in the process of sunlight all the plants are coming. Without sunlight there is no plants, no life itself. The whole life is coming, but I have nothing to do with it. So don't blame the sun for it. That's why we use the sun only to impart that light of consciousness through which the whole thing, that light of that activates it. So it is symbolically we use sunlight. That's why Sandhya Vandana means Suryascha Mamanyascha Manyapatayascha Manyapatayebhya Papebhyo Rakshantam. A price to the sun. You say, well, sun is a gulu. Somebody said, went to even Panchikamakoti or something. How can you pray sun? So I say, sun is only a globe there and it's a star. It's only burning. How can it be God? Why are you praying? He says, how do you know God? What is God? God is only expressing in the form of sunlight. So you can pray anything. That's why Hindus pray any form as the symbolic to represent that only. So morning prayer to the sun is only symbolically recognizing the presence of pure consciousness. And that's what essentially has to be understood here. Iswarasya tadupadehe maya, and the maya is called prakriti, ajnanam, they are called synonyms. And ekatvam, jiva kutasto nanam, tadupadinam anantyat. Because the upadis are many, therefore kutastha is many, jivas are many. Kechit kutastam ekameva bhruvid. Some people say kechit kutastam, the witnessing consciousness, or only one. So depending upon in what way you look at it. That's why he says upadi bedasya aprayojakatvad. Because upadi is only the instruments in which is only a convenient incidental qualification, but actually is only one. We call it this is a kutastha of this, kutastha of that, kutastha of that only, for as an incidental qualification, just as this is my space, this is your space, that is your house, we don't have enough space here and you please stay in another space. All this is only for transactional purposes. So essentially the essence of Vedanta, because this is a Vedanta Sangraha, in summary, is putting forth slowly, and one can dwell on it as much as you want in order to unravel it. So any mantra can be enough to pointing in the direction. We stop here. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Sishyataha. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.